everybody, it's Neil from WineExpedition.com coming to you from the southern end of the Santa Cruz Mountains, Corralitos Wine Trail, city of Aptos, in Pleasant Valley, at the Pleasant Valley Vineyards, and I'm here with Craig Handley. How are you, Craig?
Hi, Neil. Good to have you here today.
Thank you for having us. You're the proprietor, winemaker, and man that makes it happen here, right?
I am, with the help of my lovely wife, Kathy, who is actually the vine lady at Pleasant Valley Vineyards.
So the two of you, this is your project. You made it happen.
Yes.
And you've been here how long?
We bought the property 23 years ago, in 1986, and it took us 10 years to get it situated at what you see here today.
Wow.
We planted this vineyard in 1996 and have been producing wine commercially since 2004.
So when you got here, there were grapes here?
There were no grapes. There was a lot of poison oak, 5-6 feet tall, up 40 stump trees. It was really quite a mess.
Wow. So I don't know if the cameras are seeing what I'm seeing, but there's no poison oak here, and there's no stump trees. I'm seeing a beautiful, beautiful vineyard and a nice little sort of bowl of property. Is that how you describe it?
Yes, I would. It's basically a baseball-shaped diamond going down to Pleasant Valley Road, right to the heart of Pleasant Valley.
And does that geography help in terms of growing grapes?
Very definitely. The bowl creates a convection, and that convection heat rises up the sides of the valley, and it allows the grapes to mature slowly and gracefully. And then at night we have nice cool air coming from the Santa Cruz Monterey Bay, which is approximately 4 miles from here.
So the ocean's about 4 miles that way?
4 miles as a crow flies, yes, and there's 1 or 2 ridges in between, so that fog lifts and comes over and then gently comes down into the vineyard.
Nice. And so when I look down here, what am I seeing? What kind of grapes do we have here?
Well, what we have here are Pinot Noir grapes from Dijon clones from France, also Chardonnay Dijon clones from France, and that particular varietal does extremely well in this area.
And you say you chose Dijon clones because?
Because of the quality of the grape and the ability to get the flavors that we wanted into our particular wines, and we were given some very good guidance by our viniculturists at the time.
I'm sure we'll get a shot of this, but the vineyards are all covered with nets.
Yes. The reason for the netting is that we have a very high bird population to the very small vineyard. And the birds basically look down on the vineyard and say, it's time to picnic once they start to go to veraison. Veraison is when the red grapes, or the Pinot, starts to turn red, and when the Chardonnay grapes start to golden up. And when they first see that, they'll attack them and eat them all if we don't net them.
Now, do the birds prefer the Pinot or the Chardonnay?
They like the Pinot first, but boy, they'll go up to that Chardonnay as soon as they finish the Pinot.
I can't help but notice there's a grove of redwoods in the middle of your vineyard. What's the story there?
Well, the redwoods attracted us to this property. This used to be a redwood forest back in the early 1800s. And at the turn of the century in 1906, when we had the earthquake in San Francisco, lumber was needed desperately. So they clear-cut this forest from Watsonville, basically Corralitos, all the way up the Santa Cruz Mountains. And the farmers came in afterward and burnt the stumps and started planting the valley in orchards primarily at that time. This fairy ring just happened to survive the mother tree, and then the babies, which grow out of the mother stump, is what you see. So this is basically a 103-year-old redwood grove.
So we have a 103-year-old fairy ring. The mother tree is no longer with us, but the baby.
Her roots are, though, and they could go back 2,000 years.
I'm going to leave that one alone. But one point I wanted to touch on. So this used to be entirely redwoods.
Yes.
And cleared out to rebuild San Francisco after the earthquake and the fires.
Correct.
It's pretty, just adding to the the splendor of the property, having that kind of story, that kind of history is pretty neat. And you knew that obviously when you bought it.
No, actually we discovered a lot of that as we were here, but the redwoods did attract us to the property, and it did tell us that there was a focal point from which to build from.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's sort of a focal point for me right now to maybe go down and have a little wine. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's go.